Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Weekend Warrior Show, presented to you by MMA TORCH. I'm Rhys, and joining me as always is Chief Editor of the Torch, Sean Covington. And today's episode marks the first, except for a weekend preview show done by Sean, but the first return for myself and Sean back on the podcast. And we are happy to announce a affiliate sponsorship with Next Level Hydrogen Water. Big step up for us. We made it, Sean. I think we made it.
We there, baby.
Yeah. No, but seriously, a big shout out to them for helping us and supporting the podcast and whatnot. Obviously, it makes it a little bit easier for us to continue doing this for you guys and whatnot. But Sean, obviously, it's been a little bit since we've spoke. I had to take a week off, as you know, and you sort of held it down as you always do. But some personal news for Sean as well. Just announced the birth of a new child. Congratulations to him. Hopefully everyone will be happy for you also who's watching and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, we can't really just go right into MMA, Sean, because there's much more important things in life than sport. How's it been, and have you had any sleep, really?
Yeah, I've had sleep because my wife's in the hospital and they only allow us a certain amount of people in. So, and I got the kids, so I can't sit there overnight with them. She has family. We have a support system, but it's not really in depth. Like, her parents don't live in the state, so and my parents are not here, so we don't have someone who could just stay overnight with the kids or somewhere they can stay overnight. So I got my sleep. I feel refreshed, but I still gotta. I'm just worried about my wife. I just gotta go there and relieve her for a couple hours or whatever. Hopefully, she got some sleep. Yeah, the new baby stuff. It's just, she's got a lot of work to do all in the beginning. So, it's gonna be good to be here and just take that workload off of her shoulders.
Yeah, for sure. It's just it's exciting times, isn't it, Sean? Because obviously I'm yet to experience such a thrill, but I could imagine what you've probably been going through as well. But it's still maybe a good, we say sports a bit of an escapism. I mean, maybe, you said to me that it hasn't been too stressful and whatnot and any problems arise. But do you feel like sometimes not only sport can help, but just having that little thing to maybe help you go through what may be sometimes a stressful occasion for yourself and your wife, obviously?
Absolutely. I watched the Bruins get eliminated while the baby was being born, and right after that it was the UFC fight night, so it rolled right into that. I was watching some good hockey, and then I watched somebody get knocked out, choked out. I think it was the anaconda roll or whatever. Yeah, that was like the first one on the prelims, and yep. So she came into the world watching somebody get in this world.
Well, I imagine she's going to be a fighter nonetheless.
Life and death.
Yeah. Well, you brought up fighting. This is a fighting podcast, isn't it? So we'll start.
We got to go back.
We got to go back.
I got cut off. So the water person from the water department came to my door. And I had to handle that. So that's why I got cut off. Like, I just stopped immediately. I had the door open. I was like, man, they might shut the water off. Only black people are worried about them taking something from you, not them giving you something, right? I was like, no, they coming to take everything. And it's like, calm down. I'm just reading the meter. He was literally out of here before I could get up. And I cut the podcast off. So whatever, if you guys thought your lights or power or water was going out, you would have did it too. But I didn't get to gauge ETH, and I don't want to derail things. So we do have to go back. We don't have to do it now, but I am letting you know we have to go back. I didn't get to gauge ETH, and
we'll tie it in.
Okay.
We'll come back to that later on in the episode, because obviously, and more importantly, just from this weekend's action, just going current and newsworthy. We'll get on to UFC in a second, but there was Bellator action on Friday. I was thinking of going. I was at work on Friday. I was already in London and decided not. I couldn't really get couldn't really get any trains or anything back to my house in time, so decided not to. Perhaps it was a good idea, Sean, because that main event was not worth me going, paying for a ticket and whatnot. Well, it's a difficult one because MVP on another night is worth every piece of that, ticket price. But when you got a guy like Storley who's just in there to not rob a decision, but just rob the fans of what they were coming to see because he's just there. I'm not even a big. I won't even downplay the fact that if he was to go in there with a game plan of take him down and control and advance position, then perhaps it would be different. But to just lie on a guy for 5 rounds and do no offense, nothing. Scott Coker came out today, thought MVP won the fight, didn't think that.
You can't get laid on, man. If you ask, it's different. I know we're scoring. Fuck that. If you see somebody and they can't get up, who wins that fight? It's the guy keeping them on the ground. That's too bad. It sucks. I know there's no skill. It's not that there's no skill involved. That's not true. I know it's not the fight we want. I know you're just, it's like the sweep kick in Mortal Kombat, but you got to stop the sweep kick. Stop it. That's what my parents used to stop me then. Stop it. You don't like it. Stop it. If you can't stop it, then it's actually your fault. If somebody's playing within the rules and you can't do anything to stop it, it is actually on you. That sounds harsh, but it's mixed martial arts, man. Why are you on the ground? You know what's going to happen if you end up on the ground. What happens if you're on the ground in a real fight? You're dead, stomping you to death. So, I mean, I don't really feel bad for him. Get off of your ass.
It's with what I mean by Storley's game plan. There's no problem with the game plan of going in there using your strengths of wrestling, taking down a guy that sometimes isn't.
I just sent you a message about Josh Taylor. We're gonna talk about him too.
Ooh, yeah. I mean that was. I am aware of what the so we'll try everything in today. There's a lot to get through, but Storley with the game plan that he had, there's no problem with it. Obviously, you're going to lose fans, you're going to lose people watching and whatnot with it. But the main thing to these athletes is to win. So I understand that, but the fact that he does it without really advancing position is a bit more of a difficult pill to swallow, I think, for most people. It's probably why most people lean towards MVP to get to win. It was a fight, Sean, where either fighter could have won, and especially for it being MVP and it was in London, that you could understand if he was to get the decision based on judges and whatnot. Because when the first judges scorecard came out, obviously they do it in that 1-1 and then the final to give hype up the decision and make it as intense as possible. Obviously the first scorecard read out for MVP and you're thinking he's going to get the decision here, and it wouldn't have been a robbery, I don't think, but it would have been a fight where you'd think, had it been in the States, had MVP not been as big of a name and a fan favourite, then he definitely wouldn't have won it. But because of the background he brings into it, it's Storley, you're thinking, might get I can't say robbery because he didn't do enough. He did enough to get the decision, perhaps, but he didn't do enough in the fight to win anyone over.
Yeah, he definitely did more than Carla Esparza was allowed to.
Yeah. I mean, that fight was more entertaining than that fight. So
we have a bar of the lowest now. That's the lowest bar, and it's weird because people were like, "Well, Esparza should have did this and that." It's like, well, you kind of only allowed so much. You can't rush in. You can't be stupid, but you can't just sit there and you can only do what your opponent gives you. We saw Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero do it. I thought that one was gonna be a lot more like this fight, but it wasn't. And people don't play to their strengths. And when people do, it's like, oh, that's all you know how to do. It's like, well, what else do you want me to do? That's a dumb question anyway. If you're winning, win. That's all you need to do is keep doing that. You don't need to please anybody except the judges. And he did. So That's MVP's fault. He's a bum now. He's officially on the bum couch, and he can't get off. He has no titles. He can't even win a damn interim title. He's really a bum. You can't win that, right? Are you with me in saying MVP is a bum?
Judging off that performance, it's hard to. I see where you're going with it.
He's a bum. Come on, just say he's a bum.
But he's British, Sean. He's my guy, and he so
There's plenty of British bums, man.
Well, listen.
I mean, America's full of bums. Like literally.
It's hard because that fight. I think he's the biggest. He's definitely top 5 biggest names in Britain, and before that would have been a stretch because there wasn't that many names in Britain to start with. But now you've got the likes of Pimblett, Till, Aspinall's rising. There's some that
all bums, all future bums.
You are never coming over to the United Kingdom, I don't think. No, but yeah, Sean be welcomed by me. I don't know if he'd be welcomed by many others.
They can't fight, so don't. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, it's unfortunate. I mean, because we're gonna get to that Josh Taylor news. I mean,
well, Sean, let's focus on and round up on MVP where he goes from here. But I'll say this about him: it doesn't give him a good look. The fact that he comes in there against a guy number 4 ranked at home. Big implications on the fight, whoever the winner is. I know it's an interim belt, and me and you don't agree on.
It's still a belt, though. I mean,
it's still a belt,
claim.
It's a loose claim.
Sure, but I mean, it's something you can.
Don't get me wrong. He needed to win the fight, and he didn't. So and it makes him look average at takedown defense. Makes him look average on the ground because he got dominated there. So I can't say that he's well-rounded. I can't say that he's,
championship material. He's not championship material. He's a bum.
We're going to see.
Knocking out cans like a fucking BB gun his whole career, and then now he has a decent level of What happens when he faces somebody who can beat him? He loses.
He faced Douglas Lima, and he beat him.
Sure. But not that first time. Not that first time.
It was the decision, on that second fight.
Sure, I knew that was coming. I mean, we all knew that was coming. I didn't even watch that fight because I knew better. I said no. I said MVP's going to win it because as long as he doesn't get knocked out, they're going to score it for him. And I was right. But I mean, whatever. He's a loser, man. He doesn't lose a lot, but he knocks down cans like BB gun, an airsoft rifle, and we act like he's so great. He does have great knockout. He has a great highlight reel, sure. Among the best. Speaking of highlight reels, I know we're gonna get to Paul Daly too, but
for sure.
You know what? MVP's got to go away. I'm done with him. He should have been in it. He should have been in the UFC, at least where he could have been a bigger name. Well, I don't know about that. He stayed in his lane, and it looks like the road. He's come to the end of the road. Well,
let's continue on him for a second before we move on to the rest of the Bellator card, Sean. Where do both guys go from here? We'll start with Storley. Obviously now the interim champ, he now will face most likely Amosov, the undefeated Bellator welterweight champion. So that sort of ties him in. Whether that's, it's a big fight because it's a title fight, it's Bellator, but is it really that much of a big fight considering Storley's performance, considering how he was received by fans in attendance plus online? Difficult sell. Amosov would probably carry the.
Sure. Bellator is. They did themselves a great disservice with that decision. They did. If it was going to be a split decision, might as well just screw over Storley. It's
difficult because you could put Michael Page versus Douglas Lima in for the third time, and that's a bigger fight. and they're not
Right.
for a title.
And you could have, right.
Yeah.
If it were for the title, it'd be different, but it's not. So now all of that's dashed. So yeah, that title defense is going to be a shitty one. He's going to lose that interim title, obviously, and he's going to go back to the bum couch or whatever hole he crawled out of, whatever train station he came from. And you know who's going to be entering that train station? Michael Venom Page, because he's a bum now. You know, my suggestion to him is to grab the Sunday paper because you know that's the bulkiest paper. Read it, use it as a hat, use it as a belt.
He's not out of pocket for this. He is out of pocket.
You're a bum, Michael Page. You're a damn bum. How much is welterweight?
Weight?
Yeah, what's the weight on welterweight?
170.
Yeah, I know plenty of people at 170 to kill that bum. Goodbye. Good riddance, you bum. Lousy bum. Beating up cans, tomato cans. I mean, aren't you upset with him over his?
I was disappointed because it was a big showcase. It was in London again. The fans were in attendance. He's a big name, and I just thought, you know, you don't expect a highlight reel knockout every time, but you expect evolution. He's 35, 36 years old, you know, and to still be able to just take him down with that much ease. I know Storley's heavily wrestling dependent, so maybe it's, you know, we're not talking about some average wrestler here, but it's, for me, yeah, it was more disappointing. I wasn't sad because you know, people were saying before the fight that it was either going to be a knockout or a Storley decision. So you sort of anticipated it was going to go, the distance. There was going to be a lot of takedowns in it. But for me, just seeing him like that, it was more disappointment. But that was, the blow of that was lessened by Paul Daly. Because he is a dog, he is an OG, and he will always give the fans what some people can't.
He'll always be a piece of shit for what he did in the UFC, though.
I mean,
unfortunately,
we're gonna.
I've looked past it, but you know he did it. So, you know.
What did you think about his last performance, though, Sean? Inside that cage, he was getting, you know, wasn't going his way.
Right.
And he's able to pull out the knockout in the final round. What did you think?
I think he should have retired a long time ago, but this was a good way to go out. Can't do any better than that, man. You know, unfortunately, when you do that, when you go out like that, people want to keep going. And I don't, you know, he might think, oh, well, you know, I won my last fight by knockout, so I know you're gonna hear that in the news if he hadn't already said it. But you know, by now, like it's just Sunday, and I bet you he said something about that. Like, well, you never know. Like, shut up, stay your bum ass with Michael Venom Page on that park bench. I don't know where your bums are, but like usually ours are on like park benches, train stations, not bus stations, but no, I mean he was a bum for quite a while. He went over to Bellator as one of like not the first UFC names, but like he was a big name, a big score for them, and he never really panned out, and that was really, really unfortunate. But he does get to, you know, the fairy tale ending to his career, so there's that. I'm happy in that regard. We, like you said, we got the knockout we wanted, not from the guy we wanted, but we got the knockout.
Just such a veteran as well, and yes, there is, you know, in the career there's going to be ifs and buts and asterisks around certain moments, but still we can appreciate someone that's been around for so long, so many wins, so many different promotions and whatnot. Being a Brit as well, it's special in some ways. But where do you think his lasting moment will be? Will it just be down to that, you know, that one incident I think it was UFC one.
No, he'll be known as a really good knockout artist. I don't know if he should do. I think he'd be great at commentary if he does the right kind.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's good for pre-show. You know, put him at a commentary desk with like 3 other people and two other fighters and a host, and he'll do fine. Don't just let him off on a leash. Like let him off on a leash, but a controlled leash to where you can like cut to this guy. So I think he's got a career after this. He'll be known as a highlight guy, like a human highlight reel, which is great. Same as Michael Venom Page. I don't think Michael Venom Page would be. He'll be good at commentary too. I mean, look at Dan Hardy. I'm thinking Dan Hardy. You know, another guy, knockouts, charisma, able to get people excited. So yeah, I'm thinking they're both going to go the Dan Hardy route, which is a great way to continue your MMA career without having to be in the cage.
Yeah, great career. Is he really done? We'll find out. Some people questioning that decision, much like another Brit
He needs to be done. He needs to be done.
He's one of 2 Brits that have claimed in the last 2 weeks that or 2 to 3 weeks that they're retired, and don't know how many people actually believe the pair. But
as he heads to the train station, either he has a ticket in his hand or a newspaper to sit on the bench for eternity. Which one will he have? I hope he has a ticket. Hope you're going somewhere, buddy. Because if you go down there with a newspaper, it's over. Isn't it great that we both have that same mode of transportation and we know exactly what we're doing? Look at that, worlds away, but we know about that train.
Oh, we know. We connect in a lot of ways. It's funny where you think there's a lot of parallels, but
I know where bums are all over the world in the trains, in the train stations, like.
Yeah, those waiting rooms. That's where they hibernate in there. That's for sure. And then they get kicked out, and you feel bad for them anyway.
Right.
You do feel bad, especially here. It gets so cold and whatnot. But
in Chicago, oh yeah, like I mean, your bums are probably better dressed than ours.
I don't know. We need to compare.
I am.
That's the next topic. Compare bums. We're going to move right into the co-main, and then we'll move on. Fabian Edwards, brother of Leon Edwards, UFC welterweight. I think most people will know who he is. Knocked out one of the most iconic, one of the biggest legends in MMA history, Lyoto Machida.
Machida is a bum. Sorry.
I thought I knew where that was going.
Look, man.
That was a tough watch.
You have to edit a little bit of this show. Fuck Machida, dude. He was never that good. Never.
Oh, come on.
No, he wasn't.
Don't get me wrong. He wasn't
like style. He was a new style people didn't know, and Shogun exposed him, and he was done after that. And he should have never got that decision over Ryan Bader. Never. That's how Ryan Bader left the UFC, and I think Machida got his title shot against John Jones after that and got choked out like a bum. And Bader did well because of that. But then, no, Machida just had a style nobody knew. The dragon, get out of here. You've been a bum. You were never that good, and I'm glad you were getting exposed for the bum you are. He was never good, man. People just couldn't read him. And Shogun lost. Shogun should have never lost that first fight, ever. And Shogun said, okay, cool. Boom. Knocked him out the second time. Knocked that bum out. Why did I know he was going to knock him out? Because I know what bums look like. Shogun saw that newspaper in his hand, and he saw there was no ticket. So he followed that bum down to the train station, and he gave him his quarter. Next topic.
Well, let's keep on it for a second. Were you impressed with Fabian Edwards? For me, it was a coming out party for him. Leon Edwards in his corner, most people, maybe even if he wasn't there, Leon Edwards, most people wouldn't even have known that it's his younger, it's his brother, and it.
I wasn't impressed. But not for because Machida's not a high level of competition to me. I know that might be wild for people, but like
I'd say maybe you're right with it at this point in his career.
Look at the way he got caught. He got caught with a random elbow. Like, what do you like? Or did you fight? Like, he got caught moving back. That was a Machida thing. Like, but I'm not trying to take any props away. What I'm saying is, like, Machida is not the level of competition we expected. He is a name though. And hey, you gotta make yourself famous off of these names. And that's appreciative that he did what he was supposed to do. So like you're saying, like, it is kind of a coming out party for him. But the level of competition is kind of fool's gold.
Yeah, I think you got your argument stronger when you say that Machida at this point in his career, if you even still though, it's just another one of those sort of not gatekeepers, but Sean, when they match up young hungry guy against a guy that's perhaps just looking for one more fight.
If he's keeping the gate, then everybody's coming in that motherfucker. Dude, he was a bum since Shogun, that first Shogun fight. How many years ago was that? I knew he was never that good. He just came out of nowhere because he started beating everybody's ass, right? Because he had this, he's a martial artist, and I didn't even like his stance. Well, I kind of did. I knew everybody was stupid enough to fall for it, but no, they act like he was the next Anderson Silva. They did. I mean, was there not a lot of hype around?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to see when that fight was. Let me see. Machida versus Shogun.
When was that again?
That was in 2009, sir.
Yeah, I was thinking 2010, but
that was the first one. No, the first one was in 2009. Yeah. And who looked better in their last fight? Because I said we were talking about how Shogun looked pretty sloppy, or maybe no, not we. I said that last week. He just looked used, man. Let me not be vulgar for once. Man, you know how old prostitutes look?
I
check it out. Check it out. Hear me out. He was just saggy. He was saggy, man. He was his body had been at work for so long, and he started to sag in places where where he used to make his money. Oh, that wasn't that vulgar. There you go.
It was so disrespectful.
No.
Come on.
No.
You're comparing,
his chest was saggy. And he didn't have a strong chest. Machida's chest didn't look like that. So when we talk about who looked the best in their last fight, visually, Machida was getting wobbled. He was all over the place when he got hit. He gets hit, he even gets knocked out like a damn bomb. And I'm so glad Shogun handed him his first loss and knockout at the same time. Yeah, he's been a bum for 13 years, man. 13 years.
So we'll move on because Sean's way off on that.
He's a bum, bro. Hold on. Wait. That was 13 years ago. He's lost like 8 fights. He doesn't even have a winning record since then, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't get me wrong, it's tale of two careers with these older guys that never know when to stop.
He doesn't even have a winning record since then.
Yeah,
so let's say he had a fight a year. Did he say he had like 12 fights or something like that? Because he lost the next fight. He's got 24 wins, 8 losses. All his 8 losses came from 2010. Yeah. All 8 losses. Fuck that nigga, man. All 8 losses. He's a bum. Okay. Am I wrong in that? All 8 losses. He's got 24 wins. Who the hell was he beating? No, we're going to stay here for a second. We're going to stay here for a second, man. 1 second. I want to know who the hell he was beating. Who was he beating? I want to know. I know he beat Shogun, but that doesn't even count. He should have lost that. He should have 9 losses. He's been what? He's what, like 8-4? I mean 4-8 since 2010. He's a losing record because all 8 losses start from 2010. So, right. And he shouldn't even be Ryan Bader. Look, that's 2 more losses I just put on his record. 2 more. He shouldn't have beat Shogun. We know he lost that Shogun fight. He just didn't do enough. And he shouldn't have beat Ryan Bader. He should have 10 losses. 10 losses. He beat hold on. He beat a dying Tito Ortiz. He beat Rashad Evans. I'll give him that. Oh shit. Okay, never mind. He beat some people. I saw BJ Penn on there, but BJ Penn's whatever though. Nah, he beat some people, man. Aging or not,
he's a legend. He's a legend.
He beat older people in past the prime. He beat Stephen Bonner past his prime. Rich Franklin past his prime. Michael McDonald. It's
not his fault though. When he fights the guys,
it is his fault. He should say, "No, I don't want to fight that damn bum, old bum." Who wants to fight old bums? BJ Penn. Tito Ortiz. No, I'm gonna give him his props. Yeah. Only old or not, they were still names. I'll give him his props. But at 2009, he became a bum from then on. Anyway, yeah, I hope his career's done. I hope he listens to this. You tag him in that. Leona Machida, bum. That should be the whole hashtag. Leona Machida, bum.
Well, let's move on to. I don't think I'll ever get a Leo Machida interview at this point, but anyway. Yeah.
You can interview him. I just don't want to have anything to do with him.
I'll bring you in halfway through. I'll be like, this is Sean. He's like your biggest fan. Like, he's always followed you.
I respect the style, but I do not respect him never evolving. Can't respect it.
There's a lot happened on the UFC Fight Night without it actually being a big card. Obviously, we'll right to the main event. Unfortunate ending, but because it was a good fight as long as it was lasting. But Rakic, I haven't really checked the injury report or whatever, but obviously his knee popped. I think it was a problem he had during camp as well. He said in his post. Big fight for Jan Blachowicz because, in my opinion, I don't think he needed. It's difficult with Jan because he won the belt, but he won it when it was vacated, and then he defended it once, yes, against Izzy. But it's not like he built up a huge career and huge resume of title defenses, because sometimes when that happens, then it's obvious to give the guy that loses the belt an immediate rematch. Obviously, there was Yuri Prohaska that was waiting in the wings, and you feel like he was deserving of a title shot as well, maybe because of how entertaining he is. But when I seen this fight announced and then watching it, you're thinking that Jan has to win, because if he doesn't, he could just lose himself right back in within those rankings and maybe not get another shot. I thought that he maybe deserved a title shot or just a rematch straight away after. Yes, give Yuri the fight. Yeah, I think so too. He could have waited. I don't think he needed the Rakic fight.
I think he kind of did. Like,
right.
There's no doubt that he should get his title, his rematch now. So yeah. I think there would have been doubt. And especially if he had lost, that would probably be the end of his career, to be honest. I mean, it's weird. Like in the UFC, you fall fast. Like if Oliveira had lost, I think his career would actually be over in the UFC. His title fight, because his title fighting career, he would have had fights, but like who?
Because they were going to disrespect him either way, had he win or not. And with the missed weight, I mean, we didn't really get to talk about it too much, but with the missed weight, they were just, it was like the UFC, because we know, me and Sean know, I think people that follow the sport closely, they know who's the favourites, they know who is far gives Dana White privileges. We like.
Yeah, I told you they didn't want to push the guy. We was talking about that 2 weeks ago. I told you they don't like him. They don't want to push him. I don't even know what it's about. Like him and Chandler are great people. Like, what's wrong with him as a person? I mean, maybe it's the English thing. I don't know. Maybe because English isn't his first language, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but like, he's not even that.
Something to do with maybe like the way he's performed in fights in the past, with like, you know, people calling that he quits and whatnot. Maybe don't want to. There's maybe it's too much. It's like Kamaru Usman when, you know, he had to get over that message of him only doing 50% effort in fights, and that's stuck with, you know, when you hear Dana White saying that he got frustrated by that, where he wasn't really turning up for every event because he knew you could beat the guy at half level. But then he changed that mentality, and now he's like the most beloved champion they've got because he's entertaining and whatnot. But Charles Oliveira has just never, even since he's won the belt, and every fight he's had has been edge of your seat, eyes bright, wide open, watching.
Stomp Khabib's ears together, and Khabib left because he saw him coming. And I'm gonna stand on that. I said that a while ago. I said, Charles, I remember bringing it up when Charles Oliveira was on the come up. I said, well, they're on a collision course and he has to fight him because that's the only guy from stylistically that can match up with him that might actually be able to beat him. I had Oliveira over Ferguson back in the day. I did. Because I didn't see Tony Ferguson really panning out, and now he's dead. So he's not dead, people. That's hyperbole, obviously. He just got sent to the 6th dimension.
Oh, that was a tough one.
You know, he got Doctor Strange punched. He got Doctor Strange kicked right out.
Yeah. We'll be here all day with it, but
no. We were talking about. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I would second that point. What you've got about Oliveira and Khabib.
Yeah, Blachowicz. You were saying about.
He
did. I felt like he needed that fight. Just so there would be no naysayers and no doubters. So now we get the rematch. We don't have to ask any questions about it.
Yeah. Sort of about it because Rakic, he looks the part. Very athletic, quick jab, explosive. Fighter that you probably would want to watch, but just I don't think he connects with people. Jan does. That's, you've seen the sport he had, and yeah, it's one of those. I mean, some other standouts from that card, Sean, because obviously now you think Jan will wait for the winner of Teixeira versus Prohaska in June, and we'll see where Rakic can come back. But another couple notables was Ryan Spann with a first round submission, Caitlin Chukagian with another decision.
And she should have. You know what? I think that decision makes her look worse.
It wasn't a good look.
It wasn't. Hebus had Amanda Hebus had her in. She had her in that first round, and she couldn't match her output for the rest of the fight, which is, it happens. She put out a lot in that first round and was unable to capitalize on it. But Chukagian didn't do anything, and that's the biggest knock on her. She doesn't do anything. What does she do? Like, she'll kick our ass, no questions asked. But when you're in there with other fighters, what she does is like nothing at all. Every fight she has is pretty much like the Thug Rose and goddamn, why can't I think of her name? It's like the Thug Rose and Carla Esparza fight. That's every Chukagian fight. Just there, going through the motions, not doing anything. Like, she won't press. She won't finish you. You know, does she have the ability to finish you? Probably, but why isn't she doing that? That's the difference. You know what I mean? Like I like her, and she's Carlos Condit, man. Although he would finish you, she's Carlos Condit. All this skill amongst female fighters, one I would pick over quite a bit of people. You know, but just super well rounded. But man, what are you gonna give me? You know, I mean, man, if this was WWE, I'd tell her to go out there in a bikini, and then let's see. No, and that's because she has. I don't. Her personality isn't even coming out. What's her gimmick? She doesn't need a gimmick, but well, maybe she does. But like, you know what I mean? How boring is she as a fight?
It's a tough sell. Definitely a tough sell.
She's an. You love to see her fight because she's so well rounded and so highly skilled. I love to watch her fight. But, you know, when I wake up, I'm like, damn, what else happened? You know, like it's tough, man. You know, she's so well rounded that it's just not exciting. It's so weird. Hate to say that. It sounds really weird, but it's, you know, if she came out in Sable's outfit from the Attitude Era, different. And people might be going, oh, that's a horrible thing to say. No, listen, Sable was awful, like as a person, allegedly, and horrible in the ring. Definitely. That's not alleged. She couldn't wrestle. But, you know, she had it in other places. And Chukagian can fight. She just needs it in other places. Like, can she like film herself shooting a deer in the face or something, or fighting a bear? Damn, something. I just need something from
her. Yeah, I second everything there. To be honest, there's not much to talk about with fights that end like that. With this fighter style like Chukagian, yes, she comes forward, but never going to be fan favorite. What about Alan Nascimento defeats Jake Hadley? Jake Hadley coming from Cage Warriors here in Britain, 8-0, big prospect coming in, but ran into very talented jiu-jitsu and wrestle heavy Nascimento. In the corner was Charles Oliveira, the number one contender in my book, the champion, and for my money, the greatest lightweight champion ever. Although
they talked about the scales, they admitted that like the one of the practice scales was off. Somebody was like, "That was the practice scale." Just like, well, yeah, if one of them's off, that's kind of it. You can't give me a practice scale and say, "Hey, man, you know, well, you didn't weigh in well on these." It's like, well, I used that scale you gave me, and it was fine. Because it's different when it's weight cutting. So anyway,
we could be here all day talking about what's going on with Charles Oliveira. But yeah, he was in the corner. He helped him, Alan Nascimento, get the victory. I thought it was probably the best outside of Michael Johnson with a knockout. Probably the best performance I've seen. Yeah, what do you think of Michael Johnson as well? We're going to get to Ryan Spann, and then
I've
we're
never
going to
cared about Michael Johnson. Ever. Oh my God.
He's the most hot, cold, strangest fighter I've ever watched.
I just don't care about that guy ever. He puts me to sleep. Yup, to sleep. Actually, my wife was having a baby when he was fighting, but I can't. I don't like him. I don't care about him. He strikes me as a John Jones type. If that makes sense, or it doesn't make sense, I don't know. Did I lose you? Oh, yeah, I lost you. You gone. Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, sorry. My camera's just cut out for a second.
Okay, I almost stopped the record.
You thought it was another one of those where my camera just cuts right out and everything goes and we got to start again. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't like Michael Johnson. It's so weird. I know, but I don't give two shits about that guy at all.
Yeah.
If he gets arrested for something horrible, I won't be surprised. I don't even know the guy, but like I get this weird vibe from that dude that I don't even want to talk about him.
Yeah,
I mean we can, but I can't wait till he gets knocked out, you nasty bum.
There isn't too much.
Back from where? Where's he back from?
Yeah,
see, that's too much right there. You know, he's back. I'm like, that dude's not going anywhere. He's one of those guys. Oh yeah, look at Michael Johnson, and then who? Okay, he had a knockout. Cool. What you gonna do next time, bro? I want to know who. No. Let's dive deeper into this. Give me 1 second. Talk a little bit. I'm gonna pull up who he should fight next. Let's do that.
Well, let me just give my quick thoughts on everything. I think, Michael Johnson, very, very troubled career in terms of just ups and downs, wins and losses. 2017, he's now, he's never going to be back in fighting in the top tier in the division, against the best guys. But he has fought and beat some of the best guys in a very strange, I think, career. But it was a good knockout. He's still around. Fair play to the guy. Keep getting his money. Probably just doing it now for the love of the sport rather than any title aspirations or whatnot, because I think they're done. Also, Davy Grant, quick shout out to him. Thought, he's such a fan favourite, friendly fighter. Always brings it. Real warrior. Goes through the trenches for it. But gets the knockout in the third round. So yeah, great card really, actually, with some good knockouts. But sorry, I'll bring Sean in here. What are you found about Michael Johnson, I imagine?
Look, man, this dude he lost 4 straight fights, right? And then, that's why we haven't been talking about him. He lost to Clay Guida last time. I mean, he shouldn't have been losing that fight. Let's be for real. You lose to Clay Guida at this stage in his career. It's not that Guida's a bum, but like you should be more on the come up, right? You should be. He should be on his way out. You should be on the come up. Michael Johnson. I'm not gonna be too sympathetic. Okay. He beat Lobov. That was his last win before this. He beat Lobov, man, back in 2018. Lobov.
Well, you don't have to sell me on the fact that he's a
bum. So him knocking people like he's back. He's a bum. Oh
yeah,
my
he said he's back, but I think he was the only one that really felt anything off that, to be honest.
Want to know what's crazy? Want to know who he beat via knockout? And he doesn't have a whole lot of wins. He knocked out Dustin Poirier.
I know. That's what I said. The wins he's had have been crazy.
I stopped watching his career like in his first 20 fights. I just stopped. He's got a long career, and that's great. I can't take that away from him. He's got over 20 wins, damn near just as many losses. So it's not a great career, but it's great that he's had such longevity, and he has some massive wins. He does, and I get why the guy was a big deal. I ran into this trouble when I started talking shit about Machida. I had to go look up a guy's record and see who he fought and who he's beat. I get all of that, but it's what have you done for me lately? And lately he's been a loser. I know he just had this knockout, but he's been a loser for quite a while. He's got wins sprinkled in, and you know what? Stop fighting. Go be an accountant or something. I don't know what you want to do with your life, but if you're having a troubled life, go deal with that. I ain't got no sympathy over here. Go get your ass knocked out or go knock somebody out. That's all I care about him doing. But as far as him being back, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he didn't steal the headlines for sure. Just sort of think in his own mind he did. But Ryan Spam, we'll finish there and we'll move on to some just topics. There is one last thing about this card, Sean, that's sort of been brought up outside of actual fights. Tony Kelly coaching Andrea Lee one of the bouts earlier on the card, has been criticised for his comments during the fight, where he told Andrea Lee that, Brazilians, obviously she was fighting a Brazilian, Brazilians are dirty and they cheat, in reference to an eye poke that he felt was dirty. He obviously got some heat back from this, for people taking it as a racist remark, and he said, cancel culture is real. What I said was real and in the heat of battle, and in no way had any type of racist connotations meant. But if that's the way you take it, I don't give a F expletive. So many people quick to say racist. That's getting old. My reference was to a dirty eye poke. Do you believe him? Obviously, there was a bit of controversy coming out of this that he was just saying it to spur on his fighter and whatnot.
Yeah, because it's fighting. It's fighting. You hear that stuff. You hear that stuff. So people, man, I mean, people always want to scream racism. And people don't know what that is. They don't. I'm not saying because I'm black, I automatically had this giant, thing of racism. But that's the truth. Yes, I do get it. I understand it. When people scream it, like you got to be really careful about that, and you got to know what you're talking about. You just can't say something's racist just because. His context is in the sport, as in a particular group, not because of their background, just because of their professional background. That's a knock on their professionalism. You know what I mean? That's not a knock on them as a people. He's saying, professionally speaking, this is what they do, and it's unprofessional. That's what he meant. Like, hey, that guy's gonna do this. Like, who used to play dirty back in the day? The Raiders. The Oakland Raiders. I won't say LA Raiders. They were dirtier probably. But yeah, the LA Raiders. Oh, that's a dirty team, right? Are you talking about everyone on the team being like, are you being racist when you say that? There's a lot of black people on that team, or did you just mean their culture as a team? As professionals, they're dirty. You could say, and here's the crazy part. If I say that about the Patriots, which people have been doing, it's not racist. Why not? I mean, actually, to be fair, it kind of is. People always add a racist connotation to that, but that's because they're being racist. They'll say, oh, Tom Brady's white, and it's like, well, damn, okay. See, they automatically go to that. They said, Robert Kraft, the owner, and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, they're white, and they're in charge. They're on top, so nothing's going to happen to them. That's not what was said here. It was, if you just keep on, and people can separate them, but if you just separate it and keep it at, hey, the Patriots cheat, then you're having a different conversation, right? We can talk about the Patriots cheating all day, but if you want to bring up their race into it, combat sports is very different. That wasn't a racist remark. It was definitely used in the same context he was saying.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't think, cancel culture and whatnot, we can have our opinions on that. When you relate it to fighting, and they're in there, you said, it's a fight. Like you said, it's a fight. He's trying to spur on his opponent. He's trying to find any different way he can sort of label and describe what's going on in there for Andrea Lee, who's in the midst of, like he said, battle. So for me, that there's not much in that, but obviously it's always a talking point and whatnot. Listen, that was UFC Fight Night. Obviously, Ryan Spann with a first round guillotine as well. But Sean, we've got to move on. There's a lot of other things, little flurry of quick topics we'll get through. Just our quick reactions to some of these for you guys. Somehow my camera is struggling at the moment. I need to get it checked in, but I can't really find a way to get back on for you guys. But Sean, we'll go to Josh Taylor vacating his belts first. You just sent me that. We'll go right to that, so make sure we get that in. This was, obviously, I follow Josh Taylor quite closely, being Scottish born champion and whatnot. But like I said, I'm not going to hide around the fact that I felt he lost that fight, and he should no longer be champion. Should no longer have the chance to vacate his belts in the first place, because I feel Jack Taylor should have won that fight. But listen, he did. He said he was going to do it. He said he was going to move up a division. So is there an element of surprise here, or do you feel that that was always going to come?
I think he felt the exact same way you did. And it was like...
Do you feel like he's actually gone away on his own? And obviously right after the fight, he doesn't really know. It's hard to, even when you're in a fight like that, you're not scoring it, you're just fighting. So when you go away and then maybe you watch it, then the change of, I actually did lose that fight.
No harm, no foul. I mean, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You know, like that was what should have happened anyway. So we're where we should be, regardless of how we got there.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll see where he goes with in the division. Next up, Sean, Dustin Poirier calling out pretty much every single person alive. I love Dustin, but my God, the man lives on Twitter and he's on constantly calling people out.
He's a clown now.
It's not a good look. These fighters that are constantly on social media during fight nights and pay-per-views and saying, I'll fight him. And you just know that, no, listen, Dustin Poirier, I feel, will fight anyone. But there are guys out there that are saying they'll fight people and you know they never will have to, because it's never going to match up. And it's all just talk.
He should.
Well, who is it, Sean? Is it Nate Diaz? Is it, I'm hearing Colby Covington in end of July?
Colby Covington, yeah. That's who he's supposed to fight. And I'm like, man, I hope that dude kills you. Because it was weird. He literally was just talking about a couple other people. And I'm like, let's be for real. You just got I just read. I mean, I can't keep up with everybody's history. I just sat up here and saw. I know Dustin Poirier has few losses. And I didn't check into where the losses were because he's been winning for so long. One of those losses, Michael Johnson. So what the hell is Dustin Poirier talking about? Go fight him, man. Go avenge your loss, bum. He's turning into a bum. This is how it happens. He's that's how bums start. They start ranting and raving in the streets, and then they buy or they find the latest paper, and then they go into the abyss, the train station, the subway, never to be seen again. That's Dustin Poirier. He has nobody to fight because he lost. That's it. It's his fault. He lost, right?
He lost to the best champion in lightweight history, in my opinion. But he's still at the top of his game. He still could fight the likes of Colby Covington. I think he should move up to 170. I think
he said he was retiring, so
I think his course has run its. I think he's run his course at lightweight because he's lost to Khabib. He's now lost to Oliveira. You know, you can't really see Oliveira in this form that he's in, losing that belt. So there isn't going to be another chance, I don't think, for the belt. I think he'll move up to 170, and now at this point in his career, while he's still towards the top of his game, you put him in the likes of a Colby Covington, a Nate Diaz, a Leon Edwards.
Give him Nate Diaz, man. I think Leon Edwards beats him pretty easily.
I think those bigger guys would give. I think it'd be a good fight. I do think it'd be a good fight.
I think Leon Edwards is too rounded, and he's probably in his prime. You know, he's right at the peak. And listen, I know I shit on Leon Edwards a lot, but I'm not stupid. This guy is we agree that he's at a top level, and he can't be knocked off. He can't be knocked off of a certain level, and Dustin Poirier isn't quite at that level. He's not quite that rounded. He's super rounded, but he is not Leon Edwards. You know, like he's Leon. Excuse me. Leon Edwards is just, again, he's one of those highly skilled individuals and well-rounded individuals that you don't just say, oh yeah, they're going to get beat up, they're going to lose. Like Leon Edwards could beat anybody. That's crazy to say that. We joke and we talk it all the time, but he could actually beat anybody in a fight. Anybody.
Except Kamaru Usman. But yeah.
No, probably him too. Now, we joke about that. We joke about it a lot. Masvidal too. But he's skilled enough to beat. Not everybody's skilled enough to beat anybody.
Yeah, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Right, okay. I'm like, not just a puncher's chance and all of that, but like he's skilled enough to beat anyone in the octagon. Anyone.
Definitely.
So, Dustin Poirier is full of shit. He needs to get out of here. He's smoking crack or something. Somebody needs to get him. I think he's been hanging out with probably some people in a subway station because he's got some bad stuff. He's huffing something, man. What's wrong with him? Why is he calling everybody out? What is wrong with him? Something's wrong with him, right?
Well, let's finish with this one.
Fight Cowboy Cerrone.
Well, that was not upsetting because I didn't really want to watch the fight in the first place. But no, let's finish with this last quick topic hit before we just preview upcoming Combat Sports Week's action. Luke Rockhold signs to fight Paulo Costa. Immediate thought.
Ew.
My thought is Luke Rockhold may die once again.
Yeah, he fought in what, like 2019? That was the last time he fought? 3 years ago?
Was it?
I'm guessing.
Luke Rockhold, the man, the Amir Khan of MMA. It's
I mean, not his fights for sandwiches in a subway. Not Subway sandwiches, people, but like not his boxcar fights because he's a bum, but like the ones he's actually the last actual UFC fight he's had. Didn't he get knocked out against Yoel Romero? That was his last fight, right?
There we go. Was it?
I think so, man.
I remember the Jan fight. That was tough. It's hard, isn't it, Sean, when you watch these guys that are former champions, and yes, it's people can mock and whatnot of a vicious knockout, but once you get viciously knocked out multiple times in a row, you do start to think, even if you're not a fan of the guy, you don't want to see that.
I was off by a year in a fight. Yes, Jan Blachowicz is the last guy to knock him out. Yeah. And that was in 2019, but Yoel Romero was in 2018. So yeah, I had it flipped. Yeah, so he's a bum. I don't know what's wrong with him.
What do you think about that fight, though? I mean, it's obviously Luke would probably be the fan favorite going into that. Paulo's not very well liked.
I mean, yeah, I know, man. People hate Luke Rockhold.
I know,
they hate
Paulo's not very.
Paulo Costa has a lot of things going for him. He's foreign. He looks like Ricky Martin, and he's kind of a character. He's been linked to characters like Israel Adesanya and stuff like that. So he could make a lot of noise online and kind of get people behind him. Luke Rockhold, however, is known for getting knocked out and beating Chris Weidman somehow, and then losing to Michael Bisping. So his whole career, the last part of his career is being beat up. Like that's what he's used to happening. He's used to getting beat up.
Well, there's our quick topics. I mean, we'll be here all day, myself and Sean, talking about these, but we'll move on finally. Finish up this first episode back for myself and Sean. A lot of combat sports action as usual. Different. I quite like weekends where they're varied, different promotions and whatnot, Sean. Eagle FC starting us off on Friday night. I think a step up in terms of depth, and in terms of just sort of that freshness. I feel like when you watch Bellator, it's much of the same we normally see and whatnot. But you've got Jorgen De Castro versus Senior Dos Santos, JDS. In the main event, you've got Hector Lombard on the card. You've got Roosevelt Roberts, who...
Hector Lombard. Ooh, that's a
I know. Roosevelt Roberts, that was only recently in the UFC. Maki Pitolo as well. It's a strong card for a promotion that is picking up a lot of steam. Obviously, again, live and free to watch wherever you are in the world. Thoughts on Jurgen de Castro leaving the UFC and him fighting JDS in the main event? 3 rounds, heavyweight. Sounds like there's going to be a knockout.
Yeah, really good idea. Actually, you got to get your weight up somehow, and somebody got to lose, man. And if you can knock out the name, then you're the name, you know. So depending on how impressive it is, could help put the whole promotion on the map. Could help. It won't do it by itself, but we'll see. Then let me see. What happens if Junior Dos Santos loses this fight though?
It's Junior's in that spot where he's now looking for money. I feel, he said it himself. He's wanting to get into WWE. He was in AEW. He wanted to get into the bare knuckle or the triad combat stuff. I think Junior's just looking for a bit of a payday. He's obviously he's a great champion, once was, now looking for some money. Right. I think he'll be getting paid much better.
So he's a panhandler. He's not a bum. He's just a panhandler.
I think he's just looking for money.
Good old panhandling, please, sir. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. That's where I am with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I think he wants to win. But
sure.
I don't know. I think he still wants to be champ. I think he still wants to be a champion. I think it's a little bit more pride in there, but yeah, at the end of the day, he'll probably get knocked out in this fight and then, fight some other bum for a sandwich in a couple months.
Listen, there's a couple other names on the card, but not too much to shout. I think it's a strong card for where they're at right now, and we'll see where it goes. Boxing, Sean, we have Gervonta Tank Davis in the main event against Rolando Romero for the WBA lightweight title. Thoughts on, obviously the show is fixed around Tank Davis.
Well, what is it on?
What's it on? It's on Showtime.
That's not. That's got to be an ESPN fight. You know what I'm saying? You got to get because the problem is the name's not big enough. It's got to be
interesting.
It's not. I mean, Charlo just he just won and unified his championship. That's the name that held down all of boxing in the during COVID, during the pandemic. Charlo held it down. He was the one. He was just all over the place, fighting as much as he could. He was the name. He was the standout. And it doesn't. It's not going to be a bigger fight than the Charlo fight this week, last weekend. So, they gotta put more fights, make them more available.
So you don't think that, because this is an interesting topic, because obviously I'm in the UK. I see what I see on social media, but the feel obviously in America, where is the biggest market for Tank Davis. I'm hearing he's a very big star. He's, obviously I'm thinking that under the Mayweather promotions as well, which he is, he's a Mayweather fighter. Is that not enough for a big of enough platform? You think he needs to be bigger?
Frank Gore, former star running back for the
what team was that? Yeah,
49ers, San Francisco 49ers. He's like their all-time leading rusher. Yeah. Much bigger name. He just fought this weekend, and he knocked out he knocked out Boxcar Bob or whatever his name was. But did you watch The Simpsons? Because
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that episode where Homer was a boxer and he was just knocking out different hobos. It keeps running in my mind. So yeah, but Frank Gore is a bigger name. boxing needs star power and name power.
Yeah.
It's either got to be in not the promotion. The promotion kind of doesn't matter. It's what station is on and what they think about it. Like Showtime always gets boxing, so it's not a big deal. But if this were on ESPN, they'd be like, whoa, wait. You know what I mean? So in this case, everything else is outweighing Tank. So
interesting, because I get the sense that he is quite a big star in the US. I obviously don't know because I can't really watch too much of him. But obviously you'll know more than I will. You'll feel it.
The fight's on Showtime, so we can't watch too much of them either. You see what I mean? Like, that's the problem. Yeah. Charlo I could watch anywhere. You know, I can watch him. I can go watch that fight.
What is it like for if you're in America? Because obviously here I can't get Showtime. So how do you go about if you're a paying customer there?
It's a cable station, so it's a movie cable station, so it's you gotta pay some money. The only reason I have Showtime is because it's part of a package, but it's probably like $15 on top of your regular cable bill. So it's it's like, let's say you pay $60 for cable, right, at the lowest, and then you pay another $15 just to watch Showtime. I'm not watching this fight.
Yeah,
I don't need to watch him fight.
It's a defense of his belt. It's not an undisputed fight. It's not a big name. Obviously, I think they're slowly building.
And they don't promote because they already had their money because they're cable. You know, like, they don't really promote their fights like that unless you're watching Showtime. They promote Showtime on Showtime. I'm not going to. I don't see it on ESPN. I mean,
that's a good point.
If they showed it on ESPN, it'd be different. But like, yeah, he's not the name he needs to be.
I think it's a slow build, isn't it, with him? I don't think his name's that big. I think he needs, obviously, the other big hitters in the division to really build that. But we'll see where he goes with it.
We'll start here. This is where he starts.
Yeah, definitely. Sean, there's a somewhat anticlimactic card again this weekend for the UFC.
Oh, God. What, do we have to?
Well, Michel Pereira and Santiago Ponzinibbio, in my opinion, should be the main event, even if it isn't for two ranked fighters. I mean, Holly Holm, say what you want about her.
Why is she still? I knew it was something. I said, man, don't say anything until you get there. It was like, why is she main eventing another damn fight night?
And it's not even name value because, yes, Holly Holmes probably is a bigger name than the two in the co-main event. But if you asked everyone who would you rather watch the fight, it would be the Ponzinibbio Michel Pereira fight. It just would be. I mean,
I know Eric Anders, put him in there. Why not?
Eric Anders. I think that's
why not? Why not?
Oh, he's a good fighter as well.
Yeah, I mean, I mean that. Like, why not?
Chase Hooper's on the card as well. I mean, it's definitely not the strongest card of the year on paper. Obviously, the fights could end up being really good. Name value perhaps isn't too much there. Anything that stands out to you, really?
No. Holly Holm beats up somebody with an inflated record. Who the hell is
Taylor Vieira? I mean,
she's a nobody, man.
She ain't a scrub, though. I mean, yeah, she's not a name, but she is a good fighter. But it's
who did she fight? We're gonna go see. Who she fight.
I mean, Taylor Vieira's kind of a name, and for hardcores, I'm talking purely hardcores. It's not.
I guess. You mean hardcores? Okay.
Yeah, you gotta be hardcore, Sean. It's not just hardcore. There's different levels to hardcore. You gotta be hardcore for Caitlin Vieira to be not a fan of, but just really notice what she's been doing.
She beat Sijara Eubanks. Okay.
Misha Tate, that's
Misha
what
Tate.
I'm judging that off the Misha Tate win. It was a big spotlight for him. For
Oh,
her.
unanimous decision against Tate. Ugh. Oh, she beat her ass though, right?
Yeah, she beat her
Yeah.
convincingly. That's what I'm saying. You know, yeah, she's not a big.
It's Misha Tate, bro. She's
I know.
nobody.
God, I ain't too high on that. I'm just trying to keep it afloat a little bit.
She likes a lot. She likes a lot of decisions, man. She's a nobody. She beat Sarah McMahon via arm triangle. Woohoo! That's her signature win. I guess besides winning the decision over Misha Tate, she's a bum. Holly Holm should dispense of her easily, or if Holly Holm doesn't, she's a bum. Whoever does the worst job here is a bum. If Holly Holm loses, she's a bum. There's no way she loses to her, man. No way. No way.
Yeah, listen, there's not much to go off on that card. I think myself and Sean will be back next weekend. We'll try and find you guys some more. You know, listen, the fights could be great. Perhaps myself and Sean's conversations might be even a bit better, which is hilarious.
Next time we start with the shitty card and end with the great ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. We like to preview for you guys if you're, into combat sports and whatnot, but sometimes the best things to be said are just having a conversation about things that are completely unrelated to what we're actually supposed to be talking about. But sometimes the weekends go like that. I think it's another one this weekend. Obviously, we've got the June pay-per-view coming up for UFC in a little bit of time, probably about a month's time. But, sometimes for myself and Sean, Sean's a big WWE fan. I enjoy the stories and the narratives of things. Sometimes, a Colby Covington, Dustin Poirier potential fight is even more exciting than what you're going to witness this weekend. So
yeah.
That is the sport of combat.
Even Nate Diaz. I'd like to see him fight Nate Diaz. That sounds way better. Nate Diaz loses like horribly, but that's a slugfest. That's the fight I want to see. He finally got one right when he said, "Yeah, Nate Diaz, cool, fight him."
Well, listen, I'd like to see that fight as well. But who knows what we're going to see? There's a lot of fights that perhaps could be made in the summer. Obviously, International Fight Week is a couple months away. I think there's a big card in plans. July 2nd, I believe it is. But we're going to see where it all unfolds. But this has been a return for myself and Sean doing the podcast. We'll be back next Sunday. We'll be moving to Sundays. And then obviously the podcast will either go out Sunday night or Monday morning, but we'll keep you updated on that via social media. Check out MMA Torch. This has been another episode of the Weekend Warrior Show. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Enjoy the fights this weekend if you can. If not, don't bother. You're probably not going to miss too much.
Take a newspaper down to the train station. You bums.
We gotta go. But yeah, take care, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Watch some fights. Have some fun. See you later.